Santa Claus. The jolly man in red with a twinkle in his eye, a hearty laugh, and a belly that shakes like a bowl full of jelly. He's everywhere during the holiday season. On greeting cards, in feel-good holiday movies, perched in the center of shopping malls, and even waving from atop parade floats. He's as much a part of Christmas as twinkling lights and caroling choirs. But here's the twist. Santa Claus wasn't always the figure we know and love today. He wasn't always dressed in red, sporting that fluffy white beard, or shouting, "Ho, ho, ho!" And here's the kicker. He wasn't even real. So how did this mythical man evolve into the global icon of Christmas we recognize today? What forces shaped him into a character beloved by children and adults alike? Someone who symbolizes the joy, magic, and generosity of the holiday season? Here's a teaser. Did you know that before Santa's red suit became iconic, he was sometimes depicted wearing green, brown, or even bishop's robes? And that his reindeer-drawn sleigh only appeared thanks to a single poem that captured imaginations worldwide? These are just some of the tidbits waiting for you as we delve into this remarkable tale. So, grab a mug of hot cocoa, add marshmallows if you're feeling festive, snuggle into your coziest blanket, and get ready for a journey through time. From ancient legends to modern-day magic, we're about to uncover the incredible story behind Santa Claus, the man who brings joy to millions every Christmas. Trust me, by the end of this video, you'll never see Santa the same way again. Let's begin where it all started, with Saint Nicholas, the man who inspired the legend of Santa Claus. Saint Nicholas was a real person, a 4th century bishop from Myra, in what is now modern-day Turkey. Known for his extraordinary kindness and selflessness, Nicholas devoted his life to helping those in need, particularly the poor and vulnerable. He gained a reputation for performing acts of generosity so quietly and humbly that many of his deeds were only discovered after the fact. His most famous story is one of quiet heroism and profound generosity. As the tale goes, a poor man with 3 daughters was facing a grim future. Without money for dowries, his daughters would have been unable to marry, leaving them vulnerable to a life of servitude or worse. Enter Saint Nicholas. Moved by their plight, Nicholas secretly delivered bags of gold to their home at night. Some versions of the story say he dropped the gold down the chimney, while others claim he placed it in stockings that were left drying by the fire. Either way, his act of kindness saved the family and gave the daughters a chance at a better life. Sound familiar? This legend is widely believed to be the foundation for the modern tradition of hanging stockings at Christmas. But that's just one of the stories about Saint Nicholas. He was also said to have performed miracles, such as calming a storm at sea to save sailors, resurrecting children who had been kidnapped and harmed, and providing food during times of famine. These tales earned him a reputation as a protector of the vulnerable, and after his death, Nicholas was venerated as a saint. Over the centuries, Saint Nicholas's legend grew, and he became one of the most popular saints in Europe. He was named the patron saint of children, sailors, and travelers, and his feast day, December 6th, became a major celebration in many countries. People would honor him by exchanging small gifts, particularly for children, in a nod to his acts of generosity. St. Nicholas's influence was particularly strong in the Netherlands, where he became known as Sinterklaas. In Dutch tradition, Sinterklaas was depicted as an elderly man with a long white beard, wearing bishop's robes and a mitre, and riding a white horse. Every year, he would arrive by boat from Spain. Yes, Spain, not the North Pole, bringing gifts and treats for well-behaved children. Naughty children, on the other hand, were said to receive a lump of coal or a bundle of sticks. The Dutch celebration of Sinterklaas is still observed today, complete with songs, poems, and small gifts hidden in shoes. But Sinterklaas didn't stay confined to the Netherlands. When Dutch settlers arrived in America in the 1600s, they brought their traditions with them, including the story of Sinterklaas. It was here, in the cultural melting pot of early America, that the figure of Sinterklaas began to evolve into something entirely new. As Sinterklaas merged with other cultural traditions, his name was anglicized to Santa Claus, and his image began to shift. While early depictions still bore some resemblance to the saintly bishop, elements of folklore and imagination began to reshape him into a more secular, magical figure. But what's remarkable about St. Nicholas's transformation into Santa Claus is how much of his original essence remained intact. At the heart of his story is generosity, kindness, and the joy of giving, values that have transcended time, geography, and cultural boundaries to become central to the modern Santa Claus legend. The journey from St. Nicholas to Santa Claus is just beginning. As we'll see, it wasn't just folklore that shaped him. Literature, art, and even advertising played a huge role in creating the jolly figure we know today. So, let's continue our journey through the fascinating evolution of Santa Claus. Now let's fast forward to 19th century America, a time when Christmas was undergoing a major transformation. At the start of the 1800s, Christmas wasn't the warm, family-friendly holiday we know today. In fact, it was often rowdy and even controversial. In some communities, Christmas celebrations were more like raucous street parties, filled with excessive drinking, public mischief, and social unrest. It was far removed from the cozy, peaceful image of the holiday we associate with today. But as the 19th century progressed, attitudes toward Christmas began to change, particularly among the middle and upper classes. There was a growing push to reshape the holiday into something more harmonious and centered around home, family, and goodwill. And this is where literature and art stepped in to work their magic, and Santa Claus found himself right at the heart of it. The turning point came in 1823, when a poem titled "A Visit from St. Nicholas" appeared in the Troy Sentinel, a New York newspaper. You might not recognize the title, but you'll definitely know its famous opening line. "'Twas the night before Christmas, when all through the house." This poem was a game changer, and it reimagined St. Nicholas in a way that would forever transform the way Americans, and eventually the world, viewed him. In this version, St. Nicholas wasn't a solemn bishop or a stern saint. Instead, he was a plump, jolly figure, cheerful and magical, delivering toys to children on Christmas Eve in a sleigh pulled by 8 flying reindeer. It painted him as a warm, approachable character, full of joy and mischief, who laughed as he worked, and whose presence brought magic into the home. What's more, the poem introduced some of the most iconic elements of Santa's persona that we still recognize today. It was here that we learned about his magical ability to enter homes through chimneys, his twinkling eyes, rosy cheeks, and snow-white beard. Even the names of his reindeer, Dasher, Dancer, Prancer, Vixen, Comet, Cupid, Donder, later spelled Donner, and Blitzen, were first mentioned in this poem. Though the poem was originally published anonymously, it was later attributed to Clement Clark Moore, a professor of theology. Moore's depiction of St. Nicholas was inspired by both traditional Dutch Sinterklaas legends and his own creativity, blending folklore with a distinctly American twist. He moved St. Nicholas away from his religious roots and into the realm of childhood fantasy, making him less a figure of solemnity and more a symbol of joy, magic, and wonder. But a visit from St. Nicholas didn't just redefine Santa, it helped redefine Christmas itself. The poem emphasized the idea of Christmas Eve as a magical, family-centered night, a time when children could dream of wonder and excitement. This vision of Christmas aligned perfectly with the broader cultural shift toward a more domestic, child-friendly holiday, helping to reshape Christmas into a celebration of family, togetherness, and generosity. By the mid-19th century, Santa Claus was becoming a household name, but his appearance was still far from standardized. Early depictions varied widely. Some showed him as a small, elf-like figure, while others leaned closer to his European roots, portraying him in bishop-like robes. It wasn't until the late 1800s that his image became more consistent, thanks in large part to the work of one man, Thomas Nast. Nast, a political cartoonist for Harper's Weekly, began drawing Santa Claus during the Civil War. His illustrations built on Moore's poem, depicting Santa as a round-bellied, cheerful man with a full white beard and a fur-trimmed suit. Nast also added new layers to Santa's mythology, introducing the idea that he lived at the North Pole and kept a list of who's naughty and nice. These details enriched Santa's story, turning him into a fully realized character with a personality, home, and moral mission. It's also worth noting that Nast's Santa wasn't just a figure of joy. He was also used to inspire hope and unity during a divided time in American history. One famous illustration from 1863 shows Santa visiting Union troops during the Civil War, dressed in stars and stripes. This portrayal reinforced the idea of Santa as a unifying figure who brought comfort and cheer even in difficult times. By the end of the 19th century, the groundwork for modern Santa Claus was firmly in place. Thanks to A Visit from St. Nicholas, Thomas Nast's illustrations, and a growing body of literature and art, Santa had transformed into a uniquely American icon, a figure of fun, fantasy, and family who embodied the evolving spirit of Christmas. But his journey wasn't over yet. In the 20th century, another force would step in to shape Santa's image even further: advertising. Stay tuned as we explore how brands and marketing campaigns turned Santa Claus into the global superstar we know today. Around the same time, illustrator Thomas Nast further shaped Santa's image. Nast, a political cartoonist for Harper's Weekly, began drawing Santa Claus during the Civil War. His illustrations depicted Santa as a rotund, cheerful man in a fur-trimmed suit, often shown at work in his North Pole workshop. These images not only solidified Santa's appearance, but also added new elements to his lore, like the idea of a naughty or nice list. But Santa Claus wasn't just a literary and artistic creation. He became a marketing genius, or more accurately, the product of some of the most brilliant marketing minds in history. As Christmas grew into a major holiday for families, advertisers saw an opportunity to connect Santa with the season's booming gift-giving traditions. And boy, did they run with it. In the early 20th century, department stores began using Santa Claus as the ultimate crowd puller. Live Santas became a key attraction, appearing in stores to greet children, listen to their Christmas wishes, and hand out small treats. This wasn't just a whimsical touch. It was a masterstroke in creating magical shopping experiences that kept families coming back year after year. By linking Santa Claus to their stores, retailers transformed him into a commercial powerhouse, cementing his place as the face of holiday consumerism. Perhaps the most famous department store Santa tradition began at Macy's. In 1862, Macy's hired their first in-store Santa Claus, kicking off a trend that spread across the country. This tradition was immortalized in the 1947 movie Miracle on 34th Street, which tells the story of a department store Santa who just might be the real thing. Macy's capitalized on the film's success, using it to further associate their store with the magic of Christmas and the enduring charm of Santa Claus. But the department stores were just the beginning. Santa Claus soon became a go-to figure for advertising, appearing in campaigns for everything from toys and candy to razors and cars. Companies quickly realized that Santa wasn't just a character. He was a symbol of generosity, joy, and nostalgia. By associating their products with Santa, they could tap into the warm emotions people felt during the holiday season. And then came Coca-Cola. Many people mistakenly believe that Coca-Cola invented Santa Claus. But while this isn't true, the company played a monumental role in shaping the modern Santa we all know today. In 1931, Coca-Cola launched one of the most iconic advertising campaigns in history. They hired illustrator Haddon Sundblom to create a series of Santa Claus images for their holiday ads. Sundblom's Santa was a big, warm, and jolly figure, with twinkling eyes, rosy cheeks, and a belly that truly shook like a bowl full of jelly. His Santa wore a fur-trimmed red suit with white cuffs, a design that perfectly matched Coca-Cola's red and white branding. The ads were everywhere, on billboards, in magazines, and eventually on TV screens. They showed Santa in heartwarming scenes, sitting by a roaring fire with a bottle of Coke, delivering gifts with a knowing smile, or enjoying a cold Coca-Cola during his Christmas Eve rounds. These images struck a chord with audiences, capturing the magic of Santa Claus in a way that felt both timeless and modern. Sundblom's Santa became so iconic that it's now almost impossible to imagine him looking any other way. Fun fact, Sundblom often used himself as a model for Santa, studying his own reflections in the mirror to perfect Santa's expressions and gestures. He even borrowed features from his friends and neighbors to give Santa his universal, approachable look. Here's another fun fact. Before Coca-Cola's campaign, Santa Claus's suit wasn't always red. Early depictions of Santa showed him in blue, green, or even brown robes, depending on regional and artistic preferences. Some illustrations gave him a more bishop-like appearance, while others leaned toward whimsical, elf-like designs. Coca-Cola didn't invent the red suit. It had appeared in some earlier artwork, but they definitely made it the standard. Thanks to Sundblom's illustrations, the red-suited Santa became the global icon we recognize today. But Coca-Cola's influence on Santa didn't stop with the ads. The company helped Santa become a worldwide cultural phenomenon, spreading his image to countries where Christmas wasn't traditionally celebrated. In places like Japan and South America, Coca-Cola's Santa became synonymous with the holiday season, helping to establish the modern image of Christmas across the globe. While Coca-Cola may have played a massive role in popularizing Santa Claus, the character continued to evolve in popular culture. Books, movies, and television further fleshed out Santa's mythology, adding new elements to his story. For example, Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer, a character created for a 1939 department store promotion, quickly became one of Santa's most famous companions. The 1949 song, Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer, and the 1964 stop-motion TV special cemented Rudolph's place in Christmas lore. Santa also became a central figure in holiday films. Classics like The Polar Express and The Santa Claus gave audiences new interpretations of Santa's magic and role in the Christmas season. Each portrayal added to his charm, ensuring his image stayed fresh and relevant for new generations. Today, Santa Claus is more than a character. He's a symbol of Christmas itself. From his origins in folklore to his reinvention through art, advertising, and storytelling, Santa's journey is a testament to the enduring power of myth and marketing. He embodies the spirit of the season, generosity, joy, and the magic of believing in something bigger than ourselves. So, the next time you see Santa sipping a Coke or greeting children at the mall, remember that he's not just a figure of fantasy. He's a cultural icon with a rich, fascinating history that spans centuries. And his story is still evolving. Who knows what the next chapter for Santa Claus will look like? In 1939, Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer made his debut, joining Santa's legendary team of reindeer and forever changing the Christmas landscape. Rudolph's story wasn't just a charming tale. It was born out of a clever promotional idea by the Montgomery Ward department store. Every year, the store gave away free Christmas coloring books to children as part of their holiday marketing efforts. In 1939, they decided to create an original storybook instead, something unique that would draw families into the store. That's where Robert L. May, a copywriter at Montgomery Ward, stepped in. May was tasked with coming up with a story that would capture the imagination of children while embodying the spirit of Christmas. Inspired by his own childhood experiences of feeling different and sometimes left out, he created Rudolph, a young reindeer with a shiny red nose that made him the target of ridicule among his peers. But Rudolph's story was about more than just a reindeer with a peculiar nose. It was about overcoming adversity and finding one's unique purpose. In the tale, Santa faces a Christmas Eve crisis. Thick fog threatens to ground his sleigh, putting the entire gift delivery operation in jeopardy. Enter Rudolph, whose glowing red nose lights the way, saving Christmas and earning him the admiration and respect of everyone who once doubted him. The story became an instant hit. Montgomery Ward distributed 2.4 million copies of the Rudolph booklet during its first year alone, and children across America fell in love with the plucky, determined reindeer. The tale resonated deeply, especially during the challenging times of the late 1930s, as the world was still grappling with the effects of the Great Depression and the looming threat of World War II. Rudolph's triumph over rejection and his ability to turn his perceived weakness into a strength, offered a message of hope and resilience that struck a chord with readers. But Rudolph's story didn't stop there. In 1947, Robert L. May's brother-in-law, songwriter Johnny Marks, adapted the story into a song. A couple of years later, in 1949, the song was recorded by legendary country singer Gene Autry. Marks initially had trouble convincing Autry to record the song, but Autry's wife, Ina, reportedly encouraged him, saying it would be a hit. She couldn't have been more right. Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer became a chart-topping success, selling millions of copies and cementing Rudolph's place in Christmas lore. The song's popularity paved the way for Rudolph to become a multimedia sensation. In 1964, the stop-motion TV special Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer premiered, becoming an instant holiday classic. Narrated by Burl Ives, the charming production expanded Rudolph's story, introducing memorable characters like Hermie the Elf, who wanted to be a dentist, and the abominable snowman. The special has been aired annually ever since, making it one of the longest-running Christmas TV specials in history. Rudolph's story remains a timeless tale, loved by generations. Whether through the original booklet, the beloved song, or the iconic TV special, Rudolph continues to inspire, reminding us all that even the smallest reindeer can shine the brightest. Santa's role in movies and television has only grown since then. From the heartwarming Miracle on 34th Street to the hilarious antics of the Santa Claus, Santa has become a beloved character on screen, embodying the magic and wonder of Christmas for generations. But Santa's influence isn't limited to movies, poems, and advertisements. Around the world, different cultures have their own versions of Santa Claus, each with its unique twist. In Germany, there's Weihnachtsmann, or the Christmas Man, who delivers gifts much like Santa. In Italy, children await La Befana, a kind, witch-like figure who brings presents on Epiphany. And in parts of Scandinavia, Santa is replaced by Jultomten, a gnome-like figure who delivers gifts alongside his team of goats. Even as these traditions vary, the essence of Santa Claus remains the same, a symbol of generosity, kindness, and the joy of giving. What's truly fascinating is how Santa Claus has transcended cultural and religious boundaries to become a global icon. Today you'll find Santa in countries where Christmas isn't even a traditional holiday. In Japan, he's part of the secular, romanticized version of Christmas that centers around lights, gift-giving, and even fried chicken dinners. In Australia, Santa swaps his sleigh for a surfboard, embracing the summer heat. And in Mexico, Santa complements the religious focus of Las Posadas, adding a touch of magic to the celebrations. So, what makes Santa Claus so enduring? Maybe it's his incredible ability to adapt. Think about it. How many figures from history, legend, or even marketing can say they've remained relevant for over 1,700 years? From his beginnings as a kind-hearted bishop in Myra, to a reindeer-riding gift-giver flying through the night sky, Santa has evolved to reflect the values, hopes, and imaginations of each generation. He's not just a character. He's a mirror of our collective dreams during the most magical time of the year. But what really makes Santa special? Maybe it's his ability to capture the magic of childhood, that belief in something extraordinary, the joy of waking up on Christmas morning to find that someone, somewhere, cared enough to leave you a gift. Or perhaps it's his embodiment of generosity, The reminder that giving is as rewarding as receiving. Or is it the simple warmth of his presence, symbolizing the love and togetherness we all crave during the holiday season? Santa's story also teaches us something profound: the power of myth and storytelling. Over the centuries, countless people, poets, artists, marketers, and families have added to the tapestry of Santa Claus, weaving a legend that transcends cultures, languages, and beliefs. What started as a man performing small acts of kindness has become a global symbol of hope, joy, and the unshakable magic of Christmas. It's a reminder that stories can unite us, inspire us, and make us believe in something bigger than ourselves. Now it's your turn. What's your favorite version of Santa Claus? Is it the Coca-Cola Santa, the classic reindeer-driving St. Nicholas, or maybe a unique interpretation from your own culture? Do you have a favorite childhood memory involving Santa? Or maybe a funny story of how you figured out the truth about him? Let us know in the comments below. We'd love to hear how Santa has shaped your Christmases. As we wrap up this magical journey through the story of Santa Claus, remember this: Santa isn't just about presents or decorations. He's about the spirit of the season, the hope, the kindness, and the belief that even in the darkest winters, there's light, joy, and love to be found. Thank you for joining us on this deep dive into the story of Santa Claus. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to hit that like button, subscribe to our channel, and share this with someone who loves the magic of Christmas. From all of us to all of you, Merry Christmas. See you next time.